thank you for staying with me. Thank you for your time. Let's get straight to it. You, of course, saw what is happening when it comes to the JAMB results. And JAMB, of course, yesterday coming out to say, you know what, we made an error. We are truly sorry. We take responsibility, and they even rescheduled or are thinking of rescheduling, exams for those affected. What do you make of this?
For me, I'm half annoyed and I'm disappointed that or a handful of people contracted responsibility to, not living up to expectations. But that said, we've not had it this way before now. It's been a culture in our country in doing things shabbily and getting away with it, people with no response remorse. So with that, because of that, I want to, commend the registrar for at least owning up to the fact that taking responsibility of their inadequacies and owning up to the fact that there were some glitches. But my take is, what happens to the life that family they are bereaved at the moment just because of someone's inadequacies? And let's not forget too that JAMB is seen as a prerequisite in selecting the next set of people who goes to our tertiary institute. It goes to show that if the parastatal or the firm that is meant to select quality people that go to our university system, if they fail, what happens to even the system within the university? So for me, this reflects negatively on our educational system and even how the society, the world sees us as Nigerians.
Okay, let's also talk about the issue of IT literacy. IT literacy on the part of even the organizers themselves, talking about JAMB, because they admitted to glitch, an error, right? Which brings to the question the quality, if at all, of maybe their IT professionals. Are they up to speed? Can they really handle this magnitude of exams at the same time? And what is even the chance that this might not even be the first time that such an error is occurring, but maybe because of the magnitude or skill, they could, it couldn't be covered up? Just saying. And also in terms of IT, what I call it, education on the part of the students. Yes, for students in the cities, they may know how to use the computer. They might have that exposure. What about those in the hinterland? So what do you think this reflects of our IT literacy?
I think it's another time to reflect, to think, and as policymakers, the policymakers should think and know that times are changing. There were times where it's not a it was to an analog exam in the sense that we're writing examinations or another. But lately, people go to it has upgraded to a CBT exam where every applicant, whether you are IT oriented or not, will have to it's compulsory. They have to come to the computer. And another thing that I think we should start looking at is our secondary school curriculum. Oftentimes, I'll give you an example. There are some courses I did. There are some subjects I did in my secondary school. Today, I don't think they will help me in my university. And the world is changing. So I think it's time the secondary school is deliberate about IT, preparing JAMB bites for the task ahead, which is basically their JAMB. That being said, I must say the way it is that the problem, I was reading the JAMB Act not so long, I think it was an act of 1983. But the problem is that act has been, it's there already, it has been implemented. But my take is a policy for me. I always speak around the policymaker become a policymaker, and I was meant to understand that policies shape the world. And the only problem we are having, I think we have as a nation, is our policies are not implementing our policies is always the problem, one. And implementing the policies has to do with people we employ to drive the process of these policies. Fine, the registrar has been appointed. I think he was appointed based on track record, his good track record, and not giving excuses of glitches like this. Like you said, those people in charge of the IT, were they employed based on competence or bias, or maybe because they know someone who didn't know someone. This goes to show that a handful of them are not qualified too. So, like, it's a two-way tape. We should subscribe. Our educational system should, its current school system should subscribe towards, preparing people, their pupils for CBT tests, why the JAMB should be prepared for giving us good quality delivery, because oftentimes it's taxpayers that pay their money. Taxpayers will not pay money, will not provide food on their table, and they come back to give excuses and do one or two emotional drama just to feel remorse. I'm not sure if we continue in this, owning up. Fine, it's good you own up to your inadequacies, but he was not appointed there to give excuses. He was even appointed there to make JAMB better.
All right. Elvis, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at what you feel JAMB can do to boost its back, particularly with the students and even with Nigerians. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on New Central Television. And of course, I still have my guest with me, Mr. Elvis Akpobi. Thank you so much for your time. He's the Executive Director of Not Too Young to Lead Initiative. He joins virtually from Abuja. Now, let's, of course, dig a bit deep. Just before we went on that break, I said we'll bring up the issue of trust. I know that, many years ago, during my time then of writing JAMB, it was this revered body. They will say, JAMB, you really want to face it? There was this phrase then on the street, JAMB will jam you, that kind of thing. It was just to tell you how much of, trust and belief Nigerians had, with this body. But with what has happened recently, some might say, this, in a way, dealt the body maybe a bloody nose. But what do you think can be done, maybe as a policy initiative, or maybe just as a show of transparency and all, to boost the confidence of not just students but Nigerians? Do you think that aside just releasing the score, maybe they should also release the score, the exam sheet, maybe a digital print, so that the students themselves see the questions they got and the ones they missed? So it's pretty open. How do you think JAMB can boost confidence now?
Well, I think sometimes in situations like this is where you prove yourself. You take it as an advantage to like you said, boost the confidence of people and build trust. So for me, I think the management itself should go back to the drawing board. They already know the failure is on themselves, but they should bring out measures where they'll build trust with applicants, mostly with, like you said, showing them how they got to that, the present situation at hand, which is, underscoring young people. But aside that, so this should be a major to other parastatals in our country today, that your actions and inactions determines how people fare, mostly reflect either positively or negatively on the common man, which is the masses. JAMB per se was put together because as a measure to putting people in the university. But at the time too, I don't know if it still have to do with confidence. They brought up issues of post-UTME. So for me, I think it will have a lot of parastatals that have so many double responsibilities, because if JAMB is a prerequisite to get into the university, if there's trust, like you said, if not that, it's same as if they keep losing their value daily, either by the way of organizing themselves or bringing results out, we shouldn't be needing post-UTMEs again. And this reflect negatively on JAMB itself, the management of JAMB itself, because I was thinking, even in small cases, parastatals, they do review, they preview them, because people were complaining about they're not seeing some of these questions. People complain about, diagram that I couldn't see the diagram properly. So my question is to the registrars, was it that even me, if I want to prepare for projects, I start preparing for it like 6 months to that time. And we always test run, we do our reviews and all that. Was it that they did not test run whatever the exam itself and they got feedback? Because for a parastatal like JAMB, an MBA like JAMB, that determines the future of people, that determines the quality of education people get, our society have, we shouldn't be having such glitches.
All right.
And if for JAMB, they say, okay, they want to I went to understand that they will write some exams in some particular areas. I don't know. I'm sure ordinarily in a sane climb, let me put it that way, I know we are gradually going there. They will write the entire process will start. But what happens to those that have good scores? And maybe in the long run, they don't have good scores. And this dampens the achievements of young people, young generation when it comes to education.
All right.
Because
just a quick one, because I know that you have a lot to say. Just a quick one before I let you go. You made reference to the fact that there are many entry, what I call it, layers or levels or examinations before a student eventually gets into the university. There is JAMB, you write WAEC, you write NECO, there's post-UTME, some schools even organize their own entry examinations and all. I mean, this might, be some sort of bit appeal, but I would ask, do you think JAMB has outlived its relevance?
Yeah, I think so. I think it has, because if we have JAMB that, underscores, that takes care of, and there's a prerequisite of, that's another stage, you pass through that stage, then you now go back to the university with their post-UTME and all that. For me, as far as I'm concerned, it's the same thing. You are duplicating responsibility. So for me, I think JAMB itself has outlived its relevance. Let's not forget too that there are issues of there were times they had issues of indiscrepancies in their results and all that. So this alone is a reminder that I think it's time to scrap JAMB and focus more and build the post-UTMEs stronger. So we'll take it up from there. Let's not forget to, even going through those processes, do we still have, is our educational system still okay? I can bet you that even in our tertiary institute today, what I was taught third year, 3 years while I was in third year, I'm sure someone in third year is still going through that process at the moment. Why the world, things are changing and the world is moving. That's what for me, I'll just use the opportunity to, re-echo the need to overhaul our educational system, both parastatals that, that brings out result to tertiary institutes and other firms.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, Elvis Akpobi. Of course, once again, thank you. Director, Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, joining virtually from Abuja. Thank you, Elvis.
Thank you for having me.
All right. At this point, this, of course, is where we drop the curtains. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us across social media with the same handle. It's there on your screen.